Have you got anything else to add?
Let's go have some fun.
Yay!
Okay, Joe, you're clear up the next stretch.
Morning everyone!
Morning!
Day 5, which apparently is Thursday. It says 503 kilometres and there's a shorter option available. Ooh. We do have a viewpoint stop, you know the one I'm talking about? It's this one.
Oh, that's near the deer death spot.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. And then after lunch, where our recommendation is the Wagyu burger. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Good morning guys, day 5 and the sun is out again. It's a fairly long day again today, optional long day. When we get to a certain point we can either literally turn off and go to the hotel, which is a kilometre away, or continue on for about a 2-hour loop, so we'll see how we get on today. First thing is fuel. We didn't complete the full loop yesterday. We kind of went off and did our own thing in the afternoon, which meant that we missed out on a fuel station. So I'm currently on 70 kilometers of range, and apparently the first fuel stop is about 50 miles, which I work out to be about 80 kilometers. So those of you regulars for my Petrolhead tours videos will know that a Petrolhead tour is not a Petrolhead tour without an anxious extended fuel stop, as Lou slightly sighs in the background. But anyway, we should be okay. Just going to cruise on, and you can join me later on some decent roads. I know we've done plenty of footage behind Pete, but today we're following Dan, and he is honestly, what are you laughing at? What's Lou laughing at? Honestly, Dan is on it all of the time. He's so smooth, his lines are just unbelievable, and it's great because his sunset orange M2 stands out a lot more than Pete's black M2. So yeah, really good. Love it up here. You can see he tends not to even use his brakes. I know it's hard to believe at this speed, and I love his sort of outside in corner approach. Let's see what he does coming into this left-hander. Wow, we're doing 32 kilometers an hour. We made it through here, all because we're following Dan's amazing lines. Here we go again. This is epic. He makes it impossible for us to overtake as well. But I mean, really, who's going to overtake Dan at this pace? Seriously. Oh, he's just found the throttle pedal, I think. Oh no, he's lost it again. Dan, you are the man. I know Pete gets a lot of credit, but honestly, mate, your driving, your ability is just underrated. And I forgive you for not making any radio calls because you have been on it for the past kilometre.
Jason. Got the camera ready and everything. Morning everyone! Morning! Day 6. What day is that? Friday.
Friday!
It's a good thing it's written. Day 6 looks like that. So we're starting here.
A lot of motorway in the middle.
And we're doing that bit upstairs, the coffee stop. And then we get on the motorway. And then we've got a fuel stop, and then we've got a lunch stop, and then there's the fun twisty wiggly bits all the way to the last fuel stop, and then the hotel.
You can see mine.
The hotel looks like that.
You can see your house from space, Chris.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to day 6 of the Petrolhead tours in Spain. Apologies about yesterday's lack of content. It was a fairly short day, and I actually spent the afternoon filming my 3,500 mile review of this car. So hopefully you've checked that video out. If you haven't, there'll be a link to it up here somewhere. I actually filmed it along this very piece of tarmac, and what an incredible piece of tarmac it is. We're heading across the centre of Spain today. I think sort of near Madrid or something. So there's a bit of twisties to start off with, then a fair chunk of motorway driving, and then fun again in the afternoon. As you can see, I'm following a Z4M cab, and in front of that is the glorious GT3 RS of the 997.2 generation. While I was filming my video yesterday, there was a deserted train station that I came upon. In fact, Pete pointed it out to me and said I had to go down there and check it out. So I filmed a couple of drone clips, which I'm overlaying now. As you can see, it's quite incredible. There's even a train that's left in the station. Quite spooky, but at the same time quite amazing, and the train line just obviously goes for miles and miles, and the tunnels and everything else is still very intact. So incredible location, a really good photo shoot location in fact. But anyway, let's get back to enjoying this glorious road, following that lovely Z4M. Today I would actually love to be in a convertible with the roof off, enjoying this morning sun. It's already 25 degrees outside. It's just gone 9:30 in the morning, as you can probably tell by my slightly croaky voice. But anyway, I will check in with you later on and hopefully bring you some more awesome road action. Until then, see you in a bit. you join me about 10 minutes out from this evening's hotel. Today has been mostly motorways and dual carriageways jutting our way across the centre of Spain. We kind of went past Madrid. We're now, and we have been, on this brilliant road for the past hour or so. And in fact, for those of you avid viewers, you might recognise this very bit of tarmac from when Pete from Petrolhead Tours took my M2 competition out 2 years ago on the Spanish tour. It's a fantastic bit of road to end what has been a fairly lengthy and probably the most average day of the tour in terms of mostly motorway, but there's always going to be a day or two like that where you have to sort of get from point A to point B. The next few days are going to be really exciting and interesting. I will see you at the briefing tomorrow morning. Better late than never, mate.
Are you hiding?
There's always one.
Oh yeah, we're doing that. Excellent.
Should we tell them?
Yeah. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Pete.
Not them up there. Day 7. 455 kilometres. Sounds like a long way. It's not. It's Spain. You know. No time at all. So when we leave from here, we've got a good 5 minutes of waiting for oil and tyres to warm up a little bit, and then we're straight into good fun stuff. And we have good fun stuff all the way to the coffee stop, and then all the way to the lunch stop, and then all the way to the last fuel stop. There's 2 fuel stops today. The second one is sort of, what, 20 minutes, 25 minutes from the hotel?
Seem to use a lot from that fuel stop to the
lot.
hotel, though.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those of you who haven't done this bit before, you'll understand when we get there. The hotel is there in that picture, nestled in the mountains. Nice swimming pool outside, covered parking.
We left the hotel about 20 minutes ago and have been greeted with this road ever since. It's just glorious. As you can see, the sun is out again. It's 22 degrees, about 8:45, and yeah, what a way to start the day. We're currently following Pete out front. We're just about to overtake the legend Chris Berry in his R8 V10 Spider. Behind Pete now we have Alex in his GT3 RS, who actually has a passenger today. And then behind Alex we have Junkie in his Cayman GTS, which is actually running around 500 horsepower. He's done a few bits and pieces to that, and it makes a really good sound. I think he's semi-decatted it and done a few other bits and pieces, but yeah, it's an incredible car to follow. But strangely, out of all the cars in this tour, Junkie's one is the car that seems to throw out the most stones out the back of it, which is bizarre because he is on Michelin's, as a lot of people are on this tour, but they're not any wider. In fact, they're probably narrower than a lot of the GT3s and McLarens and stuff that I followed. So yeah, he really is a bit of a stone thrower out the back of that car, so you can't get too close. pulled over and caught Junkie going down in his Cayman GTS. This particular section of road brings back lots of memories of the 2019 tour. Patrick and I, in fact, stopped on that exact corner to film a few cars coming through. We're a little bit separated today for lunch because our planned lunch stop was a bit too busy, so we're stopping off in various spots. So I'm glad that I managed to get Junkie coming down here. It's a fantastic bit of road. It's a bit narrow, so you can't go too fast because there's cyclists, animals, pedestrians, you name it, camper vans, motorbikes. But it's still just an enjoyable bit of road. And as you've probably just seen from the drone, although it seems to go on for a long time, it actually is in a very centralized area on the side of this mountain edge. So you can watch it for ages with the drone, and it feels very different from the driver's seat that it does when you're flying the drone. Obviously you get very disorientated by all of the hairpins, but today has been a pretty epic day in terms of driving. We've spent a good amount of time behind people, and we've spent a fair chunk on our own actually, and sometimes it's nice just to break away from the group, whether you're in front or behind or in the middle, and just go at your own pace and try and enjoy some of the scenery. I think Lou's managed to spot a bit more than I have because my eyes tend to be glued to the piece of tarmac in front of me, but even that is a beautiful sight. It's just, yeah, so epic. Love it. Although it's been very hot today, we have gone through a couple of little patches of rain and a couple of bits of tarmac that have been completely sodden and cars around them covered in rain. So they've obviously had a couple of big downpours, but yeah, really can't complain. Also tight roads like this particular section where the M3 feels a lot bigger than the M2, although it's probably not. It's probably only a couple of inches longer and maybe an inch wider, but it definitely just feels a bit wider on the road. I believe this is where it sort of opens up now. And there's a nice flowy section into where we're going to have lunch with Pete and Junkie, who you've just seen on the drone in his glorious orange Cayman. I love the fact that there's always some colourful cars on this tour. The orange Cayman, of course Tom's green Hurricane, which you're probably very used to seeing if you've watched some of my older tour videos. Tom is basically on every single tour. He is captain of tours. Anyway, I will hopefully join you a bit later on as we're coming into the hotel. But for now, I'm going to turn the cameras off and enjoy this last 10 minutes into the lunch stop. Hotel. It's been an epic day. Just been following David in his Caterham and Pete for the last couple of hours, which was pretty epic. We went through a rally stage, is the only way I can describe it. And now we're going down yet another incredible road. In fact, this is Pete's absolute favourite road, I think, of the tour, and I can see why. There's absolutely nothing on it. It's lovely and flowy. and it's wide enough for cars to come the other way, which isn't always the case in Spain. We've got Stuart and Duncan actually behind me in the 600 LT, and then behind that we've got Junkie in his Cayman GTS. I've still got Caterham on my mind after following it for so long, but yeah, absolutely epic. Looking forward to a beer at the hotel, maybe even jump in the pool. It's got an amazing pool, this one, as in fact most of the hotels have done. I mean, look at this road, isn't it just epic? You got a bit of a rubber fetish?
Possibly.
Don't know what gave me that idea.
Right, day 8, 489 kilometres, looks like that. We are currently here. We've got lots of wiggly stuff to do, and a bit more wiggly stuff, and then a climb up the Port de la Bonagua, and then a drop, and then some cross-country stuff, and then we'll end up back at the hotel we were at last week, the Alma in Pamplona.
Are all the spotters going to be ready again? Yep.
Yes,
Probably.
They will. They've listed everyone.
They're probably there already just in case they don't miss it.
We have a coffee stop later this morning. We have a fuel stop later this morning. We have a lunch stop this afternoon next to another fuel stop. Yes, we're going to use that much fuel. And then we have a fuel stop when we get into Pamplona, so that we're ready for tomorrow.
Have we got any fuel stops today? Hey guys, welcome to day 8 of the Petrolhead tours. This is the final full day before we board the ferry tomorrow late afternoon back to the UK. Stayed in one of my favourite hotels, and I know that I say that about every hotel out here in Spain, but the location of last night's hotel is just incredible. It really is. I've actually been fortunate enough to stay there 3 times now with the Petrolhead tours, and each and every time is just as good as the first. We've woken up and onto one of the most incredible roads once again, and Lou and I are just rushing ahead of the pack so we can pull over and hopefully get some flybys and a nice drone shot of this surrounding area, because it is just beautiful out there. So hopefully you enjoy today's adventures. I will check in with you a little bit later. Okay guys, we're now following Dan, and we've got a brilliant group of cars behind us that my rear GoPro is hopefully picking up. This is just a fantastic pass, really is.
goes further back, 7k to the roundabout, surface change, goes into gravel, take it steady.
Join us on a motorway, which is not something you'll say very often on the Petrolhead tours, but it's actually quite a welcome change because I'm feeling exhausted. I think the past 8 days have really caught up with me, especially this afternoon. We're about 15 minutes away from our hotel, which is actually the hotel we stayed in on night 1 in Pamplona. So looking forward to getting there. We're going to arrive about 4:30 in the afternoon, so we have a good few hours to chill out before dinner. And in fact, tonight we have to do our first COVID tests. We're going to be doing it in front of someone online back in the UK, I believe, to make sure we're doing it properly and whatever else. And obviously that has to be clear before we can board the ferry tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, it's been a great day, but as I say, I'm feeling a bit tired now, and yeah, be glad to park this up and just have a nice chill. Might have an afternoon nap before dinner. So hopefully you've enjoyed today. We have got, let's say, 2/3 of a day left tomorrow with a fantastic road, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And then I think I'm kind of done driving for a bit. I'm looking forward to getting on the ferry for 24 hours and then getting home and having to quarantine for a few days and catch up on editing and that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks for watching so far, and I will see you in the morning.
Morning everyone! Day 9 looks like that. Has everyone done their COVID test yesterday? Yes. Everyone got their certificates except possibly Stuart. Who's not very good at reading instructions.
And Junkie.
And Junkie.
Junkie spilt his fluids.
Junkie spilt his fluids. No, he's going to a local place to get it tested in about an hour for local people. Yeah, yes. Junkie spilt his fluids.
Day 9 of the Petrolhead tours in Spain, the final day. We are checking into our ferry about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's always a day full of mixed emotions. Sad that the tour's over, but at the same time, as I kind of touched upon on the way to the hotel last night, I'm kind of ready to spend a few days at home chilling and not driving my car. Talking of driving the car, well, this M3 is now done 7,000 kilometers, so I believe that's about 4,500 miles. A lot of miles, considering it's about 6 weeks old. It's done a lot of miles, and it still has an extra, let's say, 500 miles to get from here to Santander where the boat is. And then in fact we're docking into Plymouth tomorrow, so that's a fair old trek for us to get home from there. We're not finished with good roads though. There are going to be some good roads on the way to the ferry, so I'll switch the cameras back on when we get to those and hopefully bring you a little bit of more fun content before we jump on the ferry. You join us a good few hours later. As you can see, the weather has worsened. In fact, every time I've come up this final pass, this is my 3rd time, it's always been wet. Probably because it's the last sort of mountain range before you hit the coastline, and the tarmac is really slippery, which is fun as well. I'm just following 3 legends from the tour. So we've got Scott out front in his 520 horsepower M140i that runs on meth. We then have Stephen aka Donna, in his beautifully sounding and looking Aston Vantage V8. And then directly in front of us we've got John, who we followed a few times on this trip, in his lovely Z4M convertible, although he has got the roof up, which I don't blame him for. It's been an epic 8-9 days over in Spain. It's just been lovely to get away, to be honest. It's just been really nice, change of scenery. I've had a fantastic time. Hats off as always to Pete and Dan for putting on yet another amazing tour. Obviously this one is more complicated than many others because of all the restrictions and forms and stuff we had to fill in beforehand and during, and now we had to have tests last night to enable us to come back to the UK, and then we have to quarantine when we get back. But it's all been worth it. It's been absolutely epic. So make sure you do check out Petrolhead Tours. I'm sure most of you have heard me talk about them many times, but there's some newbies on this trip. I think there's 3 or 4 newbies, and all of them are just like, yeah, it's every bit as good as you've said or as we've read about, and then some. Also massive thanks to my lovely other half, Lou, who's just sitting off camera, for being the most patient and helpful passenger. It's just a shame she can't edit and film like Patrick, but aside from that, she's been great to have in the car, because yeah, this trip can be, let's just say you're pushing on a lot of the time, and I think if you're a nervous passenger, it's definitely probably not for you. But as we're coming up, it feels like we're actually going to maybe punch through a cloud layer, so hopefully I'll be able to get the drone out and show you a shot of this last sort of viewpoint, and then it's 35 odd Ks back down to Santander and onto the ferry. I think we're going to have a cheeky McDonald's lunch stop just before that. It's kind of a ritual that they do.
I've been suitably David. David.